tonight again. And we are still staying at home, and that's why we're still doing the Zoom interviews. And tonight we are so honored to have a resource speaker who will be discussing about the program of the federal government uh, in regards to business owners. I know you guys are, most of you guys who are watching right now are, restaurant owners, massage parlor owners, salons, and all of those businesses that are, most of those businesses are currently closed because those are not essential, included in the essential needs, right? So we are going to talk about the challenges of these business owners, and we would like to welcome our guest for tonight, John Alward. He is the Praire Director of CFIB, or the Canadian Federation of Independent Business. Welcome, John.
Well, thanks for having me.
No problem, and thank you for accepting our invitations. So I would like to start off with a question for those for our audience who are not familiar with CFIB. Or the Canadian Federation of Independent Business. Can you tell us more about your organization and what does it do?
Yeah, so CFIB, our heart is small business. Absolutely, we're in business to help support small businesses across the country. Most of our members, about 3/4 of our members, have 10 or fewer employees. So very small, all independently owned and operated. In Manitoba here, we have about 4,800 members, all individual businesses. Nationally, we have over 110,000. So we're very proud every day to get up and fight for small businesses and try and help everyone have a chance to succeed. And really, we kind of focus on three core value propositions. My work here in Manitoba and in Saskatchewan too is on the lobbying front is our advocacy piece, and we really try and work with governments completely nonpartisan to improve the small business climate here in Manitoba, here in Winnipeg. We're on the phone every single day talking to political leaders at every single level in communities all across the country. Then on top of that, we have business resources or business help, essentially, which is incredibly important, especially right now in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. Typically, we would field about 40,000 calls from members across the country every single year. Excuse me. And I think already in about the first month, we'd already fielded 15,000 calls to help business owners with a lot of really important decisions, unfortunately, like layoffs. And Janice here in our Manitoba office, she's been doing this for over 20 years. She's a wealth of experience, whether you're looking to hire or lay off, you're trying to figure out what government rules you have to follow, templates, you name it. We have a huge variety of help to take some uncertainty off your shoulders and reduce some stress as a business owner. And then really importantly too, we also have a lot of savings programs. Because we have such a large membership base, we're able to leverage that with, deals with big organizations like MasterCard to help get lower credit card rates, or Chase Payment Tech, deals with Scotiabank, deals with Payworks to help payroll, ship time for shipping discounts. You name it, there's usually something there to help just about everyone. So that's kind of it. It's really an all-encompassing approach to help small businesses succeed. And unfortunately, right now, we're as busy as I think we've ever been before, but we're getting up every day and putting on our hard hat to go to work for our members and try and get as many through this as possible.
Now, let's talk about your advocacy, as you mentioned. I know that the CFIB have pushed the federal government for some amendments on the criteria for the Canada Emergency Business Accounts. Can you tell us more about the program and what's new with CEBA? Go ahead, John.
Yeah, well, so some really important changes were made to CEBA and the wage subsidy program as well. I'd be happy to talk about that in a second. But in particular, this past week, they expanded the eligibility criteria essentially for the number of businesses that could apply. And part of our advocacy is we're surveying small business owners across the country all the time, whether doing it in person, getting you to fill out surveys, or doing it online. We have been running surveys of our membership every single weekend since the COVID pandemic started. So I think we're on our 5th survey right now, and we're getting between 10 and 15,000 responses for every single one. It's become really, really compelling information for government. And what we found out about a week and a half ago with the Canada Emergency Business Account, the $40,000 loan, about a fifth of businesses who wanted to apply for it weren't actually eligible. And I talked to some cases right here in Winnipeg, and it was just heartbreaking. One retailer, a consignment store, she was literally under the payroll threshold for last year by $300. Before, you had to be between $50,000 payroll and $1 million payroll. And depending on how your business is set up, if you're a partnership, if you're paying yourself dividends, if you're a sole proprietor using contracted employees, you might not meet that $50,000 mark. If you're a little bit bigger business, or in particular, if labor costs make up more of your overall cost, then you can reach that $1 million mark really quickly. And I spoke with an owner of a massage therapy clinic over, I think they're in St. Mary's, and they're at 1.2 million payroll, and they had between 25 and 30 staff. So by no means are they an enormous business, but they were quite a bit over that upper limit, and they need the help just as much as anyone. They're paying $14,000 a month in rent. So we were really pleased the federal government announced that they're stretching either end of those boundaries from now $20,000 to $1.5 million. We're still hearing, unfortunately, from quite a few who aren't going to be eligible, but it's coming a long ways since where it first started. And we're going to continue to push the federal government to open that up to more businesses, especially those small partnerships, sole proprietors that are paying themselves in dividends or contract and self-employed employees.
Yeah. So aside from CEBA, there's a new assistance program, as far as I know. This is called the Canada Emergency Commercial Rent Assistance Program.
Yeah.
Can you share with us some good information about this latest program from the federal government, John?
Yeah. So it was announced late this week, and I guess what I can share, good news, is it's here. This has been something we've been really pushing hard for, to say the very least. And a lot of details aren't yet released, though. What we know is it's going to be going to commercial landlords, and to pass on that help to their tenants. And that, I believe, is going to be a combination of some subsidies and then some rent deferrals. We really wanted to focus on subsidies, especially for those businesses, like you mentioned earlier, that are forced to close. Understandably, we've closed a huge number of businesses across Manitoba, across the country, for the health and safety of everyone, but they can't operate, they can't make money, and they're losing rent costs, property tax costs, they're losing their utilities that they're paying, and a lot of loans that they have to repay without any chance of ever being able to recoup. So, rent's the second biggest cost for most of our members. So if we can help subsidize that for those that need it, that will be a really positive step. We just are still waiting on the details, but certainly stay up to date by following us on our website at cfib.ca, or certainly on social media. We're on Facebook. I'm at CFIB MB on Twitter, and we'll be sure to get you the latest up-to-date information.
Before we continue on with our questions to John, for those of you who are for those business owners who are watching right now, you can shoot us your comments, and you can type in your questions, and we'll be happy to pass those questions to John. So aside from those programs that you discussed briefly, John, there's also a program called Canada Emergency Wage Subsidy, and I don't know if Ottawa has already approved the bill on this. Do you have any latest on that?
Yeah, that's my understanding, and fortunately, we have a phenomenal national team based out of Ottawa following a lot of this stuff very closely. But this was our biggest ask. This was our biggest push, and we think it's probably the single best tool to help a lot of small businesses survive, and importantly, get back up to speed as soon as the pandemic is done, or at least a lot of the restrictions are starting to be lifted. So the way it currently works is, on the base, you can get up to 10% wage subsidy very quickly through some taxes that you wouldn't have to remainder that you should have been holding on to, essentially. But if your rent has dropped by 30% month over month, so looking at, in a nutshell, March of 2020 versus March of 2019, it's going to be about 30% revenue loss this year. So same thing for April, same thing for May. March is a little bit different. We did get them to make one important change to that. Originally, they were looking at the whole month, but because a lot of businesses were just forced to close or felt a big hit in the middle of the month, it's now going to be 15% revenue loss for the entire month. But basically, if you do qualify for that, then you can apply. I believe it's going to be open very late this month for that wage subsidy, and they'll help you basically subsidize the wages of your employees up to 75%. There is a cap. I believe it's a little over $58,000. But this is going to be hopefully a very important tool for a lot of businesses that are open, whether full-time or part-time, like a lot of restaurants are, to help them reduce their labor costs to better manage everything that's going on. And as, again, things start to open up more in our economy, it's very good to see Manitoba's numbers starting to really taper off. Then hopefully this is going to be a very important tool to get businesses back up to speed.
Mm-hmm. So let's wait for that. So we advise our business owners if they can actually call their MP, the representatives on the federal level, to push this bill to be approved soon. Now, let's go down to the provincial level. I heard, I'm not sure if I'm correct here, I heard that the provinces of Saskatchewan and also Nova Scotia are both providing a one-time grants for small businesses based on 15% of businesses' monthly revenue, or up to a maximum of $5,000. Now, does Manitoba have a similar program? And if none, have you been lobbying for this? And what's the likelihood of having the same program and their Palliser government be approved? What do you think?
Yeah, so there's nothing like that right now in Manitoba, and frankly, most provinces don't have it yet. But it has been really our biggest ask across the country since the federal government announced the changes to the Canada Emergency Wage Subsidy Program. So I think Saskatchewan's model is the best, very flexible. It's relatively quick and easy to access as well for a lot of small businesses, which is really important at the time. And $5,000 is certainly not going to solve everyone's problems, but it's going to help with your cash flow, especially when you're waiting for things like the wage subsidy program to that revenue to be able to come back in. We are pushing for it. I think credit where credit's due. The provincial government has actually set up one important program I would like to talk about. But I can honestly say we've been on the phone every single day with the Minister of Finance, Scott Fielding, the Minister of Economic Development and Trading, Ralph Eichler, certainly the Premier. I've met with him a few times in the last 2 to 3 weeks. They're listening. They're trying to get everything in order to help businesses as much as they can. And I'm really, proud, frankly, because they're paying very close attention to what CFIB is saying, what our members have to say in our survey data. And it's really trying to provide some live feedback so governments can make decisions, make changes to policies as they need to, regardless of what level of government that is. One thing that I believe it's operational now, and you can sign up on the Government of Manitoba's website by going there, clicking on the COVID-19 banner and going to Help for Businesses. It's right there. Is their new 24/7 call center that they're setting up to access a lot of these federal programs. It is extremely complicated. Some of them especially the wage subsidy, there will be a lot of questions, but we want to make sure that as many businesses in Manitoba can apply quickly and get approved quickly as possible. So that's going to be one important step. So you can certainly visit the Manitoba website to look for information on those programs, get a real person on the phone to talk to. And if you have any follow-up questions, you're certainly welcome to call CFIB for help as well.
even if they are not. Can they call CFIB regardless if they are a member or not?
Yeah, okay, that's actually a great question. And generally speaking, no, our business helpline is reserved for our members, and for good reason. They are a phenomenal team. I'm really, really proud of the work that they do every day. But given just the incredible, really unprecedented circumstance that businesses across the country are in, we've opened up our helpline. We've redeployed a lot of staff across the organization to help out with that, get everyone as educated as possible. And I'm really pleased to say, like I said, we've been closing, I think, 4,000 to 5,000 cases a week, and we're keeping on rolling here. So please don't hesitate to visit our website or call 1-888-234-2232. You'll usually get someone live on the phone right away, or someone calling you back very, very quickly to chat.
Since we're talking about CFIB, for those business owners who are not yet members of CFIB, in fact, I'll do deny. We are also owner of a company. It's called. It's a very new company we started last year, but we're not actually familiar with CFIB until this COVID-19 happened. So for those business owners who are not yet members of CFIB, how can they apply for those membership, and what are the benefits of becoming a member, John?
Yeah, well, thanks for thanks for the chance to talk about this. Just again, like, given everything that's happening, we really try and be have the heartbeat of small business really at our core. And for a lot of people that want to join and take advantage of our services, we do have I believe it's a 3-month complimentary membership that you can sign up for right now. You do want to become a member, and that will get you access to, our business help team, which again, right now, just invaluable. They're kind of like an insurance policy for a lot of problems that come up in the run of the day. You maybe forget about how important it is until you need it. And then a lot of our savings programs, really across the board, we try and touch on just about every aspect of business, from training and shipping to banking fees and payroll costs. We try and help reduce your costs by leveraging our huge membership across the country. And that, and again, our lobbying services are there to help all of our members as well.
Okay. And lastly, John, before we let you go, what is your message to all of our business owners out there as we all face this battle of the unknown?
Yeah, I cannot imagine what everyone's going through. I mean, talking to members who have had concerns, talking to dozens every single day, really. And it's exhausting and it's heartbreaking just to think about it, let alone be in that situation. So please keep your chin up. Help is on its way through the wage subsidy program, some other things that are coming down the pipeline. And please call us if you find that the help isn't available to help your business. This is impacting everyone, but we are here. And I think in large part, governments are here also to make sure that we can help save your business, help you get through so you can rehire staff as quickly as possible once this is behind us. I'm really, pleased, in an indirect kind of consequence of this. Governments across the country, I've never seen them talk about small businesses, never realized the importance to the economy, to our communities that small businesses have. So I'm cautiously optimistic that once we're all through this, we'll have attention for governments for a long time to come.
And there you go, ladies and gentlemen, the director for Prairies of CFIB, Jonathan or John Alward. Thank you very much, John.
Thanks for having me.
Good night, John.